Hey, what's going on, Soar? How you guys doing? If you're new to the channel, just make sure you subscribe so you can get updates when we post new content. Today we're going to talk about something serious. Every coach knows what I'm talking about. It is not easy to ignore. We're going to talk about gas, and not the type of gas that you think. We're going to talk about gear acquisition syndrome. So in the world of CrossFit, we see this a lot, but it's definitely crept into other fitness areas. Where people just keep gathering more and more and more gear because they believe that it's going to help them get better, or there's something that's bothering them, and this is a band-aid to help you with that. So what I'm talking about, and hopefully I'll pop up pictures on YouTube with all this stuff, is like weight belts, Olympic weightlifting shoes, wrist wraps, hand protection. Let's see what else is in there. Sweat bands, just a lot of different jump ropes. So for me, myself, just to give you an idea, so that way you know I'm not just making fun of or giving you a hard time, it's me as well. I mean, my new gas problem, my gear acquisition syndrome, is with camera equipment. I have a giant container right next to me with all this camera equipment we use for different things, and I really need to trim it down because it gets problematic. So for the gym, to give you an idea, I have a super thick weight belt that's designed for powerlifting. It's really, really stiff. You really can't do much more than kind of low bar or sumo style squats because it's almost too thick and too stiff to do traditional high bar squatting with, to the depth that you do that. It's great for deadlifts, but that's about it. I also have a lightweight thinner belt to use with Olympic weightlifting. You can do it in harder kind of conditioning workouts where you're concerned about your core stability. I have a really thick set of wrist wraps that I use for like benching and pressing. Heavy loads, powerlifting style, really wraps up. It's long, it's thick. I also have wrist wraps that you can use in conditioning workouts that are easier to adjust and smaller. So I use it for stuff like push press, push jerk, and Metcons, conditioning pieces, those WODs, workout of the day. I have heavy Nike weightlifting shoes that are super heavy, super sturdy. I have lighter weight Adidas weightlifting shoes that I used in Metcons and stuff because take every advantage you can get, right? Those of you that have ever done the workout Karen with 150 wall balls and you put on knee sleeves and weightlifting shoes for it. I have thin knee sleeves. I have thick knee sleeves. Let's see, what else am I missing here? I have a training jump rope. I have 2 RPM ropes. Those were given to me, but I still have them. And I also have a jump and rope. That's the only one I actually use. And there's probably more gear in there, right? There's probably more random things, thick grips, different stuff, right? So usually the reason for acquiring this stuff kind of falls into 2 different categories. Because maybe for you, it's you have different elbow sleeves, you have knee sleeves, you have different shoes for different workouts, you have, oh, we're just doing barbell stuff, so I'll wear these shoes, we have running, so I'll do these shoes. And I get some of that stuff that you're gonna change your shoes all the time for different things. That I can kind of understand more. As I've gotten more, I've had more wisdom in training and what I'm really training for, because for 99% of you watching this, you're not training for any type of competition in a serious way, as in, I mean, you are trying to progress to a higher level of fitness. Now, what I mean by that is if you're not protecting your sleep, if you're not dialing in nutrition, if you're not drinking because you need to be in the best shape as possible for the Open, you're probably not fully training for the Open to progress and more than you know, to the next level, quarterfinals, whatever you do this year. You're training to do better in the Open than you did last year, which is very different, right? Because the Open is now 3 weeks, not 5 weeks long. Maybe it's gonna be 5 weeks this year, we'll find out. But it's 3 weeks long, and so the idea to change your whole life for 3 weeks probably isn't that attractive for you if you're just trying to do a little bit better than last year, right? And one of the goals early on in CrossFit was if you measure performance in class, so if you're measuring how you're doing each day, seeing if you're progressing in certain categories of weight or movement or conditioning, by progressing and tracking your performance, you would kind of take care of the other areas because you saw how it helped you, right? So you would sleep better, you would eat better, you would drink more water, you wouldn't drink as much alcohol because you could see how it affected you in the gym. Now, the truth is a lot of people don't track anything anymore. I mean, at SOAR, we used to pay for tracking software that we'd have, you know, vast majority of the gym signed up for it, and less than 10% would actually track their stuff. So we kind of got rid of it. And we're working on bringing something back that would be a little bit easier to manage and use, but that kind of happened. Now, if you're tracking things at the gym, it's most likely because you're getting some type of individualized programming through our Plus programming, our PT Plus programming, or our remote stuff, all right? So back to why we would kind of gather this gear. The first one is to try and just kind of perform better in workouts because you want to perform better and you believe that this piece of equipment will help you. are the second reason why you actually have this equipment is because you want to push to the limits of your capabilities at certain competitions or certain tests. Now, I'm going to break down both of them for you. So for me, I had weightlifting shoes because I thought it would make me squat more. It did help me squat more, but I'm not going to wait. If I'm training for life and not training for a competition, I can't switch my shoes when something happens where I need to kind of call on some of the strength. I had these really dense weightlifting belts because it would help me squat and deadlift more. But it was a Band-Aid because I didn't need to learn how to brace as correctly or create as much tension as I would if I didn't have a belt. I wore knee sleeves because in the past I had tendonitis issues and achy knees. So I wore the knee sleeves to kind of make myself feel comfortable, warm them up. And the thicker ones, you can actually feel the bounce out of the squat on it. I had a distant wrist wraps because my wrist would hurt when I did stuff. So instead of work on my wrist, I would just wear a wrist wrap. But that didn't get rid of the problem in my wrist. Different jump ropes because different speeds, and I want faster double unders and all this other stuff. Essentially, I kept getting stuff that I think would enhance my performance instead of working on the things that actually would build a base, a foundation enough to enhance my performance. So what I'm talking about is if every time I squat my knees hurt, so I wear really thick knee sleeves so I can squat, that's not getting rid of the problem that's really there, the root cause of why your knees actually hurt. So it would be a lot better to slow down, work on why you have knee pain, and then build a new foundation so you can keep progressing. Because those knee sleeves are only going to help you for so long, and we're just hiding an issue. So a lot of times this happens where if we go to a doctor and we say that we have shoulder pain, they'll give you a shot that numbs the pain, but the problem is still there. That's why I'm not a huge fan of taking any type of like ibuprofen or Tylenol or Advil or any of those things, because it dulls pain. It doesn't necessarily get rid of the root cause of it. It really probably doesn't. And there's even research to show by taking anti-inflammatory stuff, you end up having more long-term problems, all right? So a lot of times we'll buy this equipment so we can feel better about our performance, but our performance didn't necessarily increase. It only increased with the equipment. Now, I get it if we are testing like a 1 rep max back squat, which we really don't do often. We usually do 3 to 5 reps. You wear a belt for that training session. What I don't get is knee sleeves, elbow sleeves, wrist wraps, weightlifting shoes, all this equipment for any workout that you do. And if you can hear that noise, I'm sorry, they're moving stuff upstairs, so it's a little loud, all right? So a lot of times we wear this equipment because something is bothering us. Instead of actually working on what's bothering us, it's easier to just focus on, ooh, if I do this, I don't really feel it while I'm working out, and that allows me to perform better at the gym for that day. And I feel good, pat myself on the back, even though instead I'm just building on a bad foundation that eventually will catch up to you, right? Now, if you wear all that gear because you're always trying to push the limits of your performance and you're actually training for something, which again, 99% of us, that is not the case. Because if you say you're training for the open so you can get better and better and progress to the next level and you want to compete in the sport of CrossFit, or if you want to compete at a better level in marathon running and you're out drinking, you're out eating bad food, you don't prioritize sleep, you're kind of just lying to yourself. You have made a justification to buy equipment that allows you to look better at the gym instead of actually getting better for the competition or sport that you are training for, all right? So if you are in that category where you want to wear a belt and all these different things, I would not use it until you're closer and closer to your competition season. I mean, even Rich Froning, who usually is one of the most liked, has the most wins overall in CrossFit when it comes to team, individual, invitational, the open. That was really loud. I hope maybe you heard that one, otherwise you have no idea what I'm talking about. All those things, he has the most amount of wins and all that stuff. Matt Fraser has the most individual wins. Froning has the most overall wins. He even, when he gets out of the season, he goes to a no belt tie frame where he gets back into that stuff. Now, if you're someone out there that's training, you have a straight up kind of aerobic capacity workout, you're doing a higher intensity Metcon, and then you're lifting afterwards, that volume, you're probably gonna have to wear some stuff to protect yourself just because the fatigue point there, the risk to reward ratio is kind of gone. But if you're someone who's training to get stronger for the open and you wear a belt every time there's a heavyweight in class in a WOD, a workout of the day, a conditioning Metcon, or in the strength portion, I think it's a big mistake because you're not building on a solid platform. You're not learning how to actually create tension, and that's gonna lead to problems down the road. So whether or not, depending on what category you fall into, right, with the gear acquisition syndrome, whether that's the I like to just buy stuff because I feel like it's gonna help me perform better and not actually work on issues, or if it's a I'm actually competitive and I'm training with a specific goal, whether that's in CrossFit or outside of it, I think it's really valuable to look and see whether or not it's actually helping you long term, or if it's just today it makes me feel better. And I get that it's very easy to just focus on today, but when it comes to actually what training is supposed to do and health for life, I'm not sure if it's too healthy to always depend on equipment to get through a workout instead of changing the workout to meet where you are so you can have a better base and foundation to build on and have some long-term health. All right, so you fall in kind of one of three categories if you're listening to this or watching this on YouTube. Number one is, cool, I do that already, awesome, good for you. Number two is, or excuse me, you don't, what I mean by cool, you do that already is you don't wear equipment all the time to help your performance. The second category is, yes, I wear equipment and I buy stuff, but it keeps me from feeling too much pain, so I wear it so that way I can keep working out. I would challenge you to slow down and stay pain-free, get on the no pain train, either by modifying stuff in class or getting more individual help from a coach through one of our different programs, so that way you're modifying and progressing through movements that lead you to a pain-free workout where you're at with the current class workout that we have today. The third option is you're someone that thinks they're training for competition, so you justify buying stuff, and you just realize that you're actually not really training for competition. You just enjoy the fun of competing in some way, shape, or form, and you just use that to justify getting a whole bunch of stuff and always wearing a belt and always wearing knee sleeves and all these things. All right, so I didn't mean to insult anyone, but I'm not saying it's frustrating, is that our goal is to have long-term health at SOAR, and it's not long-term healthy that we have an air squat workout so you have to wear knee sleeves. That's just not a long-term, it doesn't seem to fit into the idea of having long-term health. All right, so it's up to you how much you care about that. It's up to you how much this actually resonates or speaks to you. I get there's a time for some of this equipment, but if you're always needed to work out, there's probably something we got to change with that training, and we're here to help with it. All right, SOAR, it was fun doing another podcast, doing another video. If you're not subscribed to us on Apple or Spotify, please do. We're also on YouTube, looking to post more videos as we get done with this year and moving into 2022, which is absolutely wild. All right, talk to you guys soon.